You're listening to the Confessions of a Hashtag Beauty Boss podcast. I'm your host, Angela Sanchez, beauty business mentor and founder of Beauty Business Co. I want you to believe that you can achieve anything if you set your mind to it. I'll be interviewing leading beauty industry professionals and discovering exactly what drove them to becoming the hashtag beauty boss they are today. Are you ready to be inspired? You're listening to episode 70 of the Confessions of a Hashtag Beauty Boss podcast with today's guest, Marnina Diprose, founder of Digital Health Co. Marnina has a mission to empower the aesthetic, salon, spa and clinic owner through bespoke web development services and efficient business processes. This episode is brought to you by the recent launch of Aesthetic Ally, your salon website made easy. The only website builder tailored exclusively to the beauty and aesthetics industry. Head to aesthetically.online if you are in need of a new website or starting out in business and would like an easy to navigate, drag and drop DIY platform that is niche to our industry. This is going to be perfect and a game changer for you. That's aesthetically.online. Your salon, your story, your website. Marnina, welcome to my virtual beauty lounge. It is so lovely to have you on the show today. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you. And I was really looking forward to speaking with you today. You've asked some great questions from the pre-organization and yeah, ready to
Yeah.
get going.
Woohoo! I'm so excited to have you here. So we connected a couple of years ago, actually. You've been an incredible support to our community inside Beauty Business Co., sharing a whole heap of knowledge and wisdom around web development, what is needed in websites for beauty business owners, what they should be doing with their SEO, and all of that stuff that can be extremely overwhelming when it comes to a beauty business owner having a website in general. And I was just like, oh gosh, you are the girl to come into my community and share all of that knowledge around websites, but you do so much more as well. And then when we found out we had a mutual friend in our circle from you knowing them in Victoria and then me moving to the Sunshine Coast and connecting with them, it's just so wonderful to have met you now in person, to have done a content shoot for your brand. And I just love the ripple effect of what, one conversation on a DM can do to a friendship and also a partnership for our industry as well. So I'm loving having you a part of my world.
Oh, same here, Angela. And I think it's amazing to have known you from in the industry and then that mutual connection that is completely a different circle. Yeah, I feel pretty lucky to be here too and have to be able to have finally met you in person when you came down to Melbourne for that really fun and also kind of embarrassing content shoot. But hey, we do these things for our business, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, I know it's really nice to start seeing you more on social media because I was like, well, I know you're really good at what you do, but I want to know the real Marnina.
Yes, and I can be your dancing monkey if I need to.
Oh, well, it was lovely to have you a part of bring you more a part of my world as well. So that was really cool. Well, I always like to start off the show though by asking our guests, what's your definition of a hashtag beauty boss?
I love this question. I think I would define a beauty boss as a woman or man that courageously steps out on their own to build out their own business. Because let's face it, business is hard. And also carving out your own space, building out all of the aspects of your business, and then serving clients time and time again, and then potentially managing a team, that takes a lot of grit and a lot of courage.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Business, when you do decide, all right, I am going to start this, you've got to be in it for that long haul, right? Like it's not just about setting up a treatment room bed and hoping clients are going to walk through the door. And I think with digital marketing as well these days, it does throw a bit of a spanner into how yeah, like hard it can be to get in front of people. Like word of mouth is still so powerful, but to actually get in front of people's eyes when it comes from like a digital side, and
Mm.
that's just skyrocketing at like the speed of light basically, and there's a whole heap of overwhelm, and I'm yeah really excited to I want to dive into your story of like where it all began for you, because it certainly wasn't websites from the beginning and
No.
digital health co, and you've got a few pillars of your business now. So let's start from the very beginning for you. What kind of led you to choose in like to get into the beauty industry?
So websites and the beauty industry or self-care in general were actually interests of mine from a really young age. So in high school, I was quite aware of self-care and how that helps you show up in the world. So I would be that friend that cut people's hair, gave massages, taught my sister how to paint her nails, that kind of thing. But on the flip side, I was also that teenager that loved kind of creating my MySpace page. And I even had this opportunity to design my uncle's website for his wedding business, which he never used that design because it was all in hot pink. So never went anywhere. But I've always had this kind of interest in this connection. Little did I know that it was going to combine much later on, coming to 15, 20 years on. But how I really got into the beauty industry was I had been living overseas in Asia for about 3 years, and I had moved back to Australia in my early 20s. And I thought, oh, I need to do something with my career. Like, I can't just be jumping from job to job. I really want to build a career. And I went and saw a career counselor. And basically, I said, I either want to work in technology and kind of graphic design or dermatology. And she said to me, well, dermatology, you need to do a medical degree, and by the time you become a dermatologist, it's about 12 years. And I thought, oh boy. So she actually told me about this pathway that led me to finish a Bachelor of Health Science in dermal therapy. So initially I did my beauty therapy diploma, then I did a certificate in laser, and then I proceeded and finished a Bachelor of Health Science. So that was a 5 year kind of progress of the industry. And throughout that time, I worked in spas to more traditional beauty and then some dermal clinics as well. And I eventually worked with Skin Smart Australia doing some skin cancer checks. And I did love the clinical aspect, but I also found that I'd like find positions where I was working on the clinic versus in the clinic. And from here, I delved into this realm of a business development manager. I started with Vitasol and kind of when they first launched into the industry. And then I started getting more business owners asking me about how to help with some business development, and really just fell into this space where I was doing a lot of website work. Jump forward to 2020, and a lot of business owners around Australia had to close their doors, and the only way for them to make potential income was through retail selling. So all of a sudden, overnight, I had like 20 clients needing online shops set up. And from there, the web development has grown. Later that year, I hired a web developer to work alongside me, and I was doing the front end part. To now, I have a team of 7, from full stack developers to copywriters, designers, etc. And here we are. So we work exclusively serving the beauty and aesthetics industry and some hair kind of salon clients as well.
Amazing. And so that falls under the umbrella of Digital Health Co, correct?
That's correct. So Digital Health Co is the baby that we offer all of this, and working exclusively with the industry, just it's kind of come full circle. Like, I'm able to serve and help these business owners within the industry, but also work in technology, which I love and comes easy to me. And many people probably don't feel that way about technology.
No, they don't. And that is so wonderful. Like, I just am obsessed with hearing stories like this because our industry, no matter like what you're passionate in, it can take you down in so many different pathways. Like
Hmm.
myself being in the industry and then ending up sort of doing the social media marketing and all of that. It's like I never would have imagined that, but it's a similar link there, right? Like
Mm,
when you look back and reflect, I was always loving the creative marketing side of running my business.
mm,
So we have to take these little golden seeds that are planted for us along our little journeys, because when it comes to things like worldwide pandemics and we have to kind of switch and pivot and change, like that's when you can lean into those other genius zones that you have. And look at you now. Like, so you also have a podcast. Do you want to share a little bit more about that side of the business and who you want to have as your listener? And we'll make sure we share all the links to every thing that you do. And then I want to also just dive in quickly to the new baby that's been born, Aesthetic
mm.
Ally.
Okay, so a lot to cover. So when I finished uni, and was working clinically, but it was evident to me that I wanted to start something that was technology based. And I started a business called Derm Health Co., which some of you may have heard of this podcast. We did podcasts with leading experts. We had a database of over 800 providers that were dedicated to skin health, whether that be beauty therapy, dermal therapists, dermatologists, etc. And we also did live events and brought in over like 2,500 people into our live events virtually and in person. Um, so that was really filling that kind of gap of technology, but it was really not monetized from the beginning. It was something that was like a social enterprise, and ultimately I burnt out. Then got a mortgage, had a child, and I was like, I can't put all this energy into this anymore. And was also working with Digital Health Co. After kind of ceasing everything Derm Health Co related, having a baby and things, and it being almost 2 years later, I actually logged into the podcast app that we used to see, because it was still live, just to see where the stats were. And I was amazed to see that we were still getting about 1,200 downloads every single month, despite not having posted anything in over 500 days. And I thought, okay, there's something in this. So I sat on it for a few months, thought, how can I bring this back to the industry? And I looked at some of our stats and realized that many of our listeners were actually providers, whether they were beauty therapists or dermal therapists. And I initially thought that it was more to like a B2C, like consumers and people with skin conditions. So once I identified that, I thought, okay, how can we bring this back in a way that serves the industry? So now we've stripped it bare, like we're not doing a direct or anything. We're just focusing on that podcast. And that podcast is still speaking with leading experts, but it's from the perspective of education for therapists. So whether that be about a specific skin condition or maybe we're talking about technology, it is based for therapists to learn. Um, so that's kind of the transition. And yeah, I guess
I
that's
love that. I think like when it comes to kind of marketing yourself online, whether you are a beauty business owner with a skin clinic or someone like yourself or me, we've got to think of how we can cultivate community, right? And podcasting is a really great way to do that, because here we are, you and I, speaking about, an important topic, sharing your journey, because it is really great to hear from where it all began to where you are now and what could become possible. And I think it's really nice because then it can share you with a whole new audience as
Mm,
well. So you having guests on there, it might just like be that aha moment for someone who's been really like trying to figure out something specific about skin, or for they can work in the treatment room better, or from a tech side, however you're going to move forward with it. And it will just land, and it's those things where when we're living in busy lives and we can listen along while we're cleaning up in the kitchen or walking or something like that, it's nice to have an inspired voice in your ears.
Mm,
So I think it's great that you've still got the podcast going.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
100%.
fun.
And if it's okay, I just want to add something here, and that is when I finished my dermal degree and had spent tens of thousands of dollars on education and all this time, and then transitioned out of the clinic, there was a lot of like turmoil, inner turmoil, thinking I've wasted this degree, I've spent all this time and money, and feeling a lot of guilt about that. And I do see and understand how people in the industry, if they have an interest in something else, might feel like that. But I just want to say it's worth it. Like pursue your passion, pursue what it is that you want, because when you look back, you'll actually realize that everything that you learned just built on what you are doing today. So it's not a waste. Everything builds on each other, everything layers on each other, and that's really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I can probably guarantee through conversations that you are having in that podcast, it's also helping you from a clear, clarified message in what your clients are needing when it comes to the web development, who they're speaking to, what kinds of pain points they have, and what solutions they're going to bring through the message of that website, but like starting with like a proper customer journey and all the things that you are a genius in developing. But we are not all equipped with, I guess, the big amount of funds when it comes to getting like a real proper website created,
Mm.
because I know that there is a lot of work that goes into it. You can go and DIY something from like a GoDaddy or something template like that. Or you could go and find another pillar that you have offered the industry, which is Aesthetic Ally. I would love for you to dive into that with our listeners. Like, what is it? Who's it for? And how does it all work?
Mm. So, Aesthetic Ally is something that we've just launched, which I can't really contain my excitement, but I'm not a super emotional person. So, if you don't hear excitement in my voice, I'm actually jumping up and down inside screaming because it's so exciting. But Aesthetic Ally is been about 4 years in the making, and the idea came essentially it's a do-it-yourself website builder, but it's for the beauty and aesthetics industry. And the reason why we have created this is because we offer a customized solution. So our websites are starting from about $5,500. And in the past, and they go up to tens of thousands of dollars for a really complex site. And it is required to have that cost because of the amount of people that's involved in it and the amount of time that goes into creating something completely custom with all the strategy, etc. But in that, I really felt that we weren't able to support either really small business owners that might be solo operators or someone that's really new to the industry. And I have a bit of a passion for small business and people that go out on their own. So over the last few years, I've thought, how can we bring this? How can we bring this? And over time, I've been able to find a solution to that. And we launched it just a few months ago. And it's a do-it-yourself website builder that you could think of like kind of Wix or Squarespace in that it's drag and drop. So it's no code required. And it's all inclusive as far as hosting. So you don't have to like try and find a different host for it. It's all inbuilt in the same system. But the templates that are included are specifically for the beauty industry. So the layout of the page includes everything that you would need for your beauty salon or your hair salon. It has unique pop-ups and things that are relevant to a salon, things like if you've got a last minute cancellation, you can add a pop up to your site that says, we've got a last minute booking, book here, or a reminder that your booking policy has changed, or a pop up to show your Christmas opening hours. So everything is really specific to the beauty industry. And all of the buttons and things that are needed and are there. So when you go to a website builder like some of the big names, yes, there's lots of templates, but they don't necessarily have the strategy for each individual industry. So you might find a pretty template, but it's actually a restaurant template. So all of the strategy and all of the buttons and the requirements and the features and functions are for a restaurant. But if you're a lay person that doesn't know web development and user experience design, then you're not going to know how to change it from just being a pretty website to a website that converts. And Aesthetic Ally does that for you.
I love this is game changing. I can
Mhm.
only imagine why you were jumping up and down inside because this is something that comes up in our community all the time and is not my genius zone at all. I've always outsourced support and help when it comes to web development, SEO, and all the things that you need when it comes to websites. But like, think again of how the digital landscape is changing and how you can really maximize your website. It's not just about having your About Me page, your booking system software on and connected. Like, it's got to have that complete customer journey from when they land top of funnel on your socials to you directing them to the website or the online store. It has to tell a story in there, and you've made it so easy. When I saw you kind of taking me through a bit of a walkthrough of it that day we connected in person, I was just like, oh my God, this is so simple to use, and it can save the business owner hours and hours of time, but then also thousands and thousands of dollars. Because
Mm.
also, I think one of the things is we think, all right, I'm going to invest my 5 grand into my website, which is great if you're going down that direction. But then they never update anything on it because they have no idea how to even like update a blog post or update a new product or take off that old promotion. And so then they're constantly paying for, I guess, like I don't know even know if you offer this type of service, but I can imagine that can also be quite costly too to get you to update a blog post or update a shopping item and take off a promotion. So this is something that allows you to be empowered with the knowledge to control this yourself and really keep things in motion and up to date, especially when it comes to your like the promotional marketing that you might be doing for Mother's Day, for Christmas, for Black Friday. Like, I think it takes that whole last minute of, oh, I'm going to do a Black Friday sale and then just post one social media post. Imagine if you could create and update a lot of the things on your website to make more money as
Yeah,
well. And this is going to
absolutely.
allow that.
Mm. And for those clients that are on a custom design, they often go on a concierge or care plan, but that's, necessary for that particular business because they have the resources and the money to outsource that. Where for some business owners, that's just not the case. So having a do-it-yourself option where you can make any change that you need is really powerful. But in the future, as we add more templates, there will be templates for those specific events as well throughout the year so that you'll be able to log in and see that there's a new landing page or a new pop-up that is relevant to that specific holiday, and then you can just personalize it to add in your details.
How exciting. That is so cool. I'm really so excited for everyone listening to this episode. Where can they go and find out more information just so that we've planted the website? And I know that you've got a separate Instagram for Aesthetic Ally as well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So for aesthetically, it's Aesthetic Ally is the name, but it's kind of a it's kind of a play on the word aesthetically. So the website is aesthetically.online, and there you'll be able to see all the templates. You'll be able to register there. And for listeners, you will continue to receive the launch offer pricing that will be expiring for everyone else quite soon. But for any listeners of this podcast, you will continue to get that launch offer pricing as a little special bonus.
Oh, that's very, very cool. So we'll add some links into our show notes and then also the social media graphics and tag you as well. So, and I know that like they can go onto Instagram, Digital Health Co is the Instagram handle, correct?
For our main business, yes. And then
Yeah,
it's aesthetically.online for the do-it-yourself website builder specifically.
amazing. Perfect. Well, now that we have like uncovered all of everything that you do, thank you so
Hmm.
much for sharing that because it's, again, podcasting is a really great opportunity to dive in deeper and uncover all of the offerings because, yeah, it can get a little bit unclear when it comes to having a quick 15-second Instagram story, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
Now, well, I want to find out a little bit more about you. Which hurdles do you continually see popping up when it comes to running your business, really?
Oh, okay. So the hurdles that probably keep coming up for me, and I've prepared this, and I've also included some for beauty businesses because I
Oh,
was
great.
so but for me, I think mindset, like just continually coming up. We're like onions, right? So just when I feel like I'm on top of something with mindset within my business and feeling really confident around that, something else shows up. And I realize that that's just taking me to the next level of growth, but it's constant. Um, and for beauty business owners, something that I see that comes up a lot is the belief that they're not good with technology. Um, and the real reality of business in this time is that you're going to be using 7 to 10 different softwares right from the very get-go. So, from day one, you're going to have your email, social media, booking system, email marketing, point of sale, etc., etc. And we often see, or I hear that beauty business owners have these limitations of, oh, I'm not good with technology, but they don't actually look at how far they've come. So when you recognize that you already are using software and technology daily, and some of that software you might even feel like you're kind of in an expert level, like with your booking software, for example, recognizing that will help grow confidence. So, yeah, that's something that I just see on a day-to-day basis, and it comes up a lot.
What a beautiful reframe. I love that. And it is so true. Like, if we do look at how far you have come when it comes to getting your point of sale software for the very first day and going, oh my gosh, how am I going to figure this out? To, having your online booking system set up,
Mhm.
for being able to do text blasts out to clients, being able to have your emails all set up and automated for the kind of foundational birthdays and like that doesn't happen without you carving out that time for implementation as well. So confidence will come after you actually do make it a priority to do the learning, right?
That's right. And as you look back, you can say, okay, well, I did that, so this is kind of similar. And I think growing confidence will reduce your stress response. And we know that reducing your response will increase your IQ and the probability of you being open to learn and try new tools, whether that's with technology or just mindset in general.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. What are your top two important tips for the aspired beauty boss listener to learn from when they're starting their own business?
Okay, well, there's two that like just come straight away, and that is set up your systems from the very beginning. If you haven't already listened or read Michael E. Gerber's book, The E Myth or The E Myth Revisited, do it. It will like having this kind of set up from the beginning is going to help everything later on. And the second would be continually improve your service and customer journey online and offline. Like it's not just done and set. Refine, refine, refine. And a way that you could do this is that you could set up quarterly sprints or goals so that each quarter you have a different focus on a different area of your business to improve upon each quarter. And just making those 1% changes is over time is going to compound, and it's really going to show up in your customer satisfaction and your bottom line.
Oh, I love that. That's great. A good idea as well, setting out that little bit of time where you're even spending 4 hours of that just like full laser focus time on one particular area that you can improve from the last month or the last quarter. and work on ways on how that's going to help you by only 1%. Yeah, it sounds little, but it's not. Think of where and what that's going to look like in 5, 10 years if you've just made those little improvements along the way.
Absolutely. I used to have this all or nothing kind of mentality, and now I have very much a 1% mentality. And I feel like that compound has actually been more impactful than trying to do everything at once all the time.
Yeah, yep. And I can completely relate there. Like being a mum, working and co-parenting and homeschooling and
Hmm.
then doing like a little bit more high touch services for people. It's like, oh gosh, where's the time to be working on the business instead of in the business, right? Or in the personal side of things and then working on yourself. It's like, okay, instead of trying to have it all done, the to-do
Yeah.
list is never going away. How about we just work on these three things to like tick off the day, you know?
Yeah,
It doesn't
absolutely.
have to be everything all the time.
Hmm.
Now, I would love for you to share 3 apps that you just can't live without.
Okay, so I guess I probably would be thinking about the apps that I use all the time in my business. One would be Gmail or G Suite because I use it so often, not just for the obvious emails, but for the organization of documents and all of the other features that G Suite brings. Like, I couldn't run my business without it. Absolutely. Number two would be Slack for team communication. This is something that my project manager, Mariah, has been wanting to implement for months. Every time I'd say, oh, we need a better way for team communication, she would say, yes, let's do Slack. And I was like, oh, the learning curve's too steep. But ever since we implemented it about 3 months ago, it has really made a difference to just streamline our communication. So now I'm like, why didn't we do it sooner? And number three is Canva. I mean, this seems like an obvious one for most business owners, but Canva is so great for things like, okay, I want to update the email signature image, or needing to do a presentation for a webinar. Like I use, or I designed a invitation for personal events. Like, I use Canva on a day-to-day basis, and when we need to get out the big guns for design, sure, our designers use other things, but for small business owners, Canva is a game changer.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And so many beauty business owners actually don't have the Canva app on their phone. They are still sitting on their laptop designing. And I feel like when you are having a bit of a spark of inspiration, potentially you're not at your home office and you could be thinking, oh, I am gonna, sit down here and have a coffee and create some things for my business. And whether they're still shot or like maybe they're moving graphic reels or something where you're going to embed all your testimonials in, it's
Mhm.
really easy. I absolutely love Canva as well, even though I do love to also outsource all of our graphics because it's not my genius zone to create them. But when it comes to quick things, it's got everything, presentations as well. Like when I'd love so many more beauty business owners to dive into creating masterclasses and tapping into more skin knowledge for their audience and bringing in like PowerPoint presentations and
Yes.
doing things where they're creating and cultivating community as well, but like in a teaching way, like how
Yeah.
we do,
Yeah.
but for skin therapists. So I'm hoping that that's going to kind of ripple into our industry as well. So Canva's absolutely awesome for that.
Yeah, agree.
What is one thing you're constantly searching for when it comes to support in what you do daily?
Mm, this one have really had to think about, but I think it comes back to actually meditation and the spiritual practices that really have enabled me to become more in tune with myself and being aware of energy leaks or opportunities. No matter how woo-woo that sounds, I will stand by that. Because I think this has really had a flow onto all other areas of my life. It means that I can show up for, like, if I can show up for me, I can show up for others, whether that be family, my daughter, people in business. And It's really meant that I can have a more balanced state of giving and receiving. I think being an empath and in the past, identifying as hyper independent, I've given and given and given with a challenge to accept help. So I think coming back to like the meditation, spirituality practices, there's a whole list of them, has been one of the biggest things that I look at and lean to when I'm needing support.
Yeah, gosh, I love that. And energy leaks. Like, that's a really good way of putting that. Like, what you're surrounding yourself with is so important, from the people, from what you're reading, what you're consuming in your media. I would say, I think my word has been like energy zapping.
Hmm.
And there was someone that I used to listen to that had shared a bit about that, and just really kind of intentionally listening throughout the whole day at where your energy could be leaking or being zapped.
Mm.
And then, so if you are feeling zapped in energy, then you know what you just did, or who you are surrounding yourself with potentially isn't someone or something you want to be kind of putting in your environment all the time. Or if you are feeling zapped and you know that that person or what you're consuming needs to happen from like a team meeting, or being like confrontational. I don't really like that, but that could be an energy zap for me. So what are you going to fuel your body with to make sure that you're recharged and re-energized from that leak or that zap as well? That's a really good way to put it.
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, I could talk about that and consumption all day long. We have, things being kind of zapping and trying to take our attention from step every time we step out our door to look at the TV, to put on the radio, to pick up our phone. So yeah, I think being aware of consumption is definitely one of the biggest ways that you can start gaining back some of that energy from the get-go quite easily just by looking at those things.
Yeah, 100%. Do you have any specific routines that you stick to set your day up for success?
A few from a practical standpoint. I think a short to-do list. This is something that I've learned since being a mum, is basically have a to-do list and then cut it in half, and then tackling the big frog first. And then when I'm doing things throughout the day, just constantly asking, is there something that I should be doing? Can I delegate or delete it? And something that's been another game changer would be, or like a specific, I guess, routine or something that I just is a non-negotiable, is that I'm mindful when I book my meetings. So I time block meetings. And then like getting organized for the day from a mind and energy perspective, starting my day with protein, big game changer. Earthing daily. Um, yes, like that helps with my energy through the whole day. I've also got this really cool app on my computer called Mind Zoom, and it flashes like subliminal messages and affirmations on my screen while I'm working. So I feel like that just keeps me going. And then listening to uplifting music when I'm working. Like all those things I do on a day-to-day basis, and it just gets me in that like good zone for work.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And you have a really cool treadmill desk. Like, okay, you really
Yes, I
do have to
do.
go and follow Digital Health Co. Aesthetic Ally now, because you'll be seeing this reel come out where Marnina's walking on her very cool treadmill in her beautiful dress. And it's like, this is how we should be making sure we're creating movement, maybe shifting some energy. I was like, I need one of those.
Yeah, it's yeah, all of the tools. I guess I'm a little bit of a I don't know if the right term is biohacker. It's a bit of a cliche, but any of those tools, love them, love them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely biohacking your day. Oh, this has been so lovely. I want to move on to some rapid fire questions now. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best book you've ever read?
The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I reread it every year for the last 8 years.
Oh, wow. I'll definitely have to put that one on my list then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who is someone that you would love to meet in person?
Oh, Catherine Zankina from Manifestation Babe. I love a story of a woman that has come from nothing, and has really intentionally built her dream life. Super inspiring.
She is very inspiring. Absolutely. I love her so much. What's one thing you've procrastinated about this week?
Oh, you're gonna spank me for this. Silly, but posting stories on Instagram, the captions aren't working on my phone and it reduces interactions. So personally, I just have been procrastinating on that all week.
I know that is so frustrating. It's still happening. We've got to get to the bottom of
I
this.
know.
Yeah. Um, I get that though. A lot of beauty business owners find that, okay, I've done my reel or I've posted my carousel or I've put my promotional offer out there. And stories do seem to be something that holds them back from coming to the camera and speaking in general, just in the raw. So yeah, we've actually got a Instagram stories ha challenge happening inside our Beauty Boss Pro membership this week, which I'm really excited about because I think we can just fall off the bandwagon and even just make stories not like strategic sometimes. So it's about making it strategic, but also coming raw to the camera as well. So yes, we've got to get that sorted for you.
Yes. I'll fix it, I promise.
What is something you would jump at if you knew you wouldn't fail?
To write a book.
Oh,
Oh, something
would
I've
it be,
wanted to do since I was 12.
oh wow. So would it be life story stuff or web development
Mm,
stuff?
time will tell. Yeah. I'm
That's
not, I've got some ideas, not industry related at all.
okay. Well, they do say we all have a book within us somewhere. So I'm
True.
excited for that. If you were stranded on a deserted island with no Wi-Fi, what is one thing you wish you had with you?
A wide brimmed hat. I just can't imagine making a wide brimmed hat out of something that I found on an island.
She's still a skin therapist at heart, everyone.
I am have to protect the décolletage.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Marnina. This has been really lovely connecting on my podcast. I'm grateful for you carving out some time for me today. Um, what's next for you? Do you want to share anything with our audience, making sure that we've given you enough space to really share your message and how you want to create impact for our industry?
Wow, thanks for the opportunity, Angela. So we've just launched Aesthetic Ally, so that's going to be continually evolving with new templates, being added monthly. So that's something definitely to kind of keep your radar out if you are thinking about building or creating your own website. Maybe you're starting a business, you're a small business, or you're one of those business owners that say, I hate my website and I don't know what to do about it. Like I hear that all of the time. This is a way that you can actually start getting moving like in really fast. We're doing monthly workshops where you can actually come and join live and build your website out with me on the day. And the goal of those workshops is by the end of the workshop to have something live that you can launch to the world. And yes, it is possible. We did it a few weeks ago and had two. Um, in the future, I might just drop this here, just maybe a bit of an accountability for myself. In the future, we're working on a project called Stacker Club. And this is a free tool where business owners will be able to view all of the technology in different categories and see how they work together. So they'll be able to see things like if it's a paid, freemium, or free software that if you can implement it yourself, or you need a developer to do it. And this is because there's so many software items out there, whether that be your finances, your point of sale, your booking software, your email marketing. And people often don't know where to start and they don't know if they can all link together. So this will be a resource library for that, which will be launching later this year.
Oh, Wow, that's an exclusive right there.
It is. You first heard it here.
That is really cool. Like, even with you sharing that, it gets me excited, but it also goes over my head because it's like, oh, yeah, that is something that is a problem right now in my life. And it would be really great if it all stacked together and I could see what was working and what could link and make my life easier. And also probably paying for double ups on subscriptions and stuff as well. So,
100%. Big businesses look at their technology stack. Like there's a whole terminology behind this, and it's something that's lacking incredibly in small business and even more so in beauty businesses because for a lot of beauty businesses, they say technology goes over my head, but it comes back to you're going to be using technology anyway. So make choices that suit you and your business.
yes. Oh, amazing. Well, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Well, once again, thank you so much. We shared earlier on in the episode that our listeners could get the Aesthetic Ally launch price that you're actually going to be keeping active for our Confessions of a Hashtag Beauty Boss listeners, whether they sign up now or maybe you're listening to this episode and it's been a year since we've launched it, because as we know, and what you shared, podcast episodes can get listened to no matter if new ones come out.
Mhm.
And I do hope that we can spread near and far, probably Australia wide, worldwide, to so many other salon and clinic owners that you can be a big support for them, Marnina. So, thank you so much for being really generous with that offer as well. Did I miss anything out? Or we can, yeah, make sure all the links to all of that's shared in our notes as well.
Yes, no, we've covered so much. And thank you for just creating this platform and this opportunity for me to share this because I think it's all about community and being able to, share things with the community. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to do that.
You're so welcome. Thanks again. Have an awesome day.